Yo, this is going to be a tutorial on how to get Quistis card immediately at the beginning of a Final Fantasy VIII playthrough with just the beginner cards. This is going to be in the context of speedrunning, but yeah, without further ado. The number one thing is that this has to be done from a complete hard reset, or if you're using the Steam version, going from restarting the program completely, I'm pretty sure. But the idea behind that is that we're starting the game from the same exact RNG seed. And what this ends up having happen, well, what this ends up doing is that it makes it so we're always going to be playing against the same sets of cards, provided that we mash fast enough. I'm using a turbo controller, so it's going to look a lot easier than it might sometimes be. But yeah, I've got to go from here. And me starting from a save right before here is just fine. In fact, if you're doing it for the first time, and even your first few speedruns, it's worth it to just go here and save. And even if you don't get the frame that we need for winning the Quistis card, you'll still be able to just do a soft reset after that game. But yeah, anyway, take the map to the cafeteria. And this is just with beginner cards that you get from the elevator. Dude, the guy by the elevator. After you talk to Selfie, so it's from the start of the game, walk down the hallway with Quistis, listen to the classroom lecture, and then exit, talk to Selfie, and then you get the cards from the one guy that's in the hallway. Anyway, so now that we're here, we want the guy in the back that has the Quistis card, and then he's gonna ask, we're ready for a game of cards. So say yes. And to begin with, we'll see what we get on the highest turbo setting. And then the cards that we want to choose are Gizzard, Funguar, Gala, the Fishfin enemy, Bastidocalin F, however you want to pronounce that, and Caterpillar. Okay, so this works. This is since we see Biggs and Wedge, and then the other three cards, the Jelly, the Elnoil, and the Anaconda, we know that this is the third frame that it's possible to press play on. This is actually a 30 input per second controller, but it's possible to get this because the card game itself is running at 60 FPS, so in theory, if you can mash at 20 inputs a second at least, you'll always get one of the first 3 frames, but that's mashing on one button at that speed, so that's why it can take quite some time to get it sometimes. Yesterday I was doing speedrun record attempts, not to digress too much, but I had over 6 or 7 resets just on this one part because I couldn't mash fast enough. Anyway, now that we're on this frame, let's show how to do the cards. So it's going to be the same exact setup every single time. The NPC will always do the same exact movements to retort for where you're playing your cards. It's Funguar top right at the start, then the Fishfin in the middle, then Gala, the white, green, and black thing in the bottom right, and then last but not least, Caterpillar, middle left. And then this always guarantees a win, so that's one of the frames. We'll try and show the 2 other frames, but that's the basics of how to get the card. We should even be able to do it this way. What else? Just the way with the RNG, with how it works, is that technically you could roam around Garden as much as you want and still be able to come here and get the card. In terms of the speedrun, we do it immediately just because it's the quickest point to do it. But the card RNG for card games does not advance unless either A, you've done a card game, or B, if you've gotten any battles of any kind. Both of those things, and then what happens in fights go towards changing the RNG value that we're concerned with. But the Quistis card bit, as long as you come here immediately, you'll always get one of the right frames. If you mash fast enough. I suppose that's another thing. You have to be mashing fast enough to get one of the first 3 frames of cards. Same cards here. See if we get the... Okay, good. So this is the 2nd frame. And technically this is the fastest one to get. Again, I always put the cards down where you always want to put them down. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so the first 3 frames of when pressing play is possible with the guy is when you need to press play. If it's any later than that, while there's technically a few frames that work for just getting Quistis card, it won't work in conjunction with getting Zell card first try. This is mostly a speedrun tutorial, so I'll come back and redo this later. But yeah, so we'll at least go to that bit. So this screen right here, that right there, when play appears, you have 3 frames to press it quick enough. And if it's any time after that, it's just not going to work. So we'll try and get the last possible frame now, which is the first one. The one that we just got is the fastest one for both putting down the cards and then the number of flips that occur. Not that even the world record for this game in any of the categories is optimized enough to be trying for specifically 2nd frame, but it's just a little note. And then the frame that we got the first time with Biggs and Wedge, that's the 3rd frame, 2nd fastest. And then if we can get this last one, it'll be the slowest because you have to put down all 5 cards as opposed to just putting down 4 of the 5 cards of your deck. I guess it's always slower to have to select all 5 of your cards. I'm trying to think of anything else there might be other than just showing this. Hopefully it just works this time. I'm not going to edit this video. At some point I'll come back and redo this tutorial. Okay, good. Working perfect for today. So same type of deal. We're just going to show where you should put the cards in response to what the NPC is doing. The guy in the back. And wow, look at that, we won. Holy moly. Yep. So that's the first frame that it's possible to press play on. So technically the earliest you could possibly press play. So as far as anything else, yeah, that covers the 3 different frames that we're shooting for in FF8 speedrunning. The reason, quickly, that we want one of those 3 frames is that it later works in conjunction with getting Zell card, either first or 2nd try, but I'll cover that in a different video, as it requires a bit more than just going to Zell's mom and playing her immediately. In triple triad. But yeah. Takeaway points. Gotta do it from a hard reset. or at least need to not have gotten any encounters from starting a new game, or having done any other card games. If you do that, it's not going to work. Number 2, mash fast, mash your dick off. You have 3 frames that it'll work with. And number 3, save before, especially if you're new to speedrunning it. It's a minute that you're gonna have to sit there. I guess that could be one thing we do. Well, no. Let's just say that I failed here to mash fast enough. All you would do is after... I don't know what's faster actually. Either playing a game, losing, whatever, it doesn't matter. And soft resetting, or just doing a hard reset right there. Either way, it'll work. Let's see. Totally the best card strats right here. Oh no, we lost. But yeah, from here, we could just do soft reset. And that's one thing in FF8 that's really nice. You can just hold down the buttons that are associated with soft resetting. You don't have to press them all at the same time, as is the case in most other games. But yeah, if we went back now here, we should still be able to get the Quistis card in one of the first 3 frames that we're looking to get. Fourth thing, this is definitely in the right order of how you want to do it all. But grab the beginner deck from the guy standing next to the elevator after you talk to Selfie. Is all. Those are the only cards that you need. No need to go to Freeze or any of that. Just get the cards, come here, mash, and play your cards correctly. That should be about it. But yeah, let's see if this works. I'm pretty positive it does. Yeah, so this is the second frame again. It's right center. That. And that. Okay. And I guess, you know, I can show it really quick, just as reference, if you don't want to go back and look at the individual card games. But let's see. How can I do this? That show? Not quite. Let me just do this quick. Yeah, like I said, I'll make a more polished version of this at some point. This is just the quick and dirty version to get it out there. There's other speedrunners I could point you to that have done tutorials too, but at least I have my stamp on it now. Let's see. How to use OBS. For noobs. Let's see, this, not that, but this. Okay. Yeah, so there's the different patterns. So first frame with Elastoid, second frame with Marlboro, and lastly with Biggs and Wedge. Other than that, oh, one point. Sometimes you'll see Elastoid and Marlboro, but they'll be with different cards than what we saw earlier in the video, or in this video. And if that happens, that means you match too slow. It has to be specifically the cards that we saw earlier. Otherwise, it's not first, second, or third frame. It's fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Don't work. So. Anyway, hope that helps your Quistis card quest, and yeah, we'll cover the Zell card next time. Okay, bye-bye.